Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on Delay. Oh man, life is good. It's been you gotta say that. You gotta believe it, and then you'll see where it is like that. In my opinion, there's so many things. But somebody said, what did he say? Somebody said something like, before you complain, yeah. Half of the people, anyway, there's a bunch of people wish they would be in your condition, so you're very fortunate, so just stay positive. I don't really have the words right now, but I saved some posts from social media that I thought were pretty informative. I don't know if I can play a video on my phone and it record at the same time. I don't think it has that capability, but I'm gonna try. Here is Jordan Peterson, which is he's like a professor, and he's like an internet celebrity guru, speaker, and I think his study is in some form of psychology or behavioral stuff. And let's see if it's gonna record. Fair enough. Okay, well, it doesn't look like it's gonna work like that. And what Jordan Peterson goes on to say, though, is alcohol is not good for you. Alcohol is not good for you. It's involved in a lot of violent crimes, like most murders, or he said something close to 50% of murders. Alcohol is involved, and I keep chiming on alcohol. That's probably not one of them. Oh my gosh, that motorcycle. That's not one of the, there's so many other things, but that's one that's widely consumed by people, and if it's involved in 50% of the murders, then it's something that should be looked at. Maybe we need to, I don't know, maybe we need to regulate it a little bit more, and he's saying this, that's murders. He's not talking about DUIs. I don't think DUIs would fall into murder, but anyhow, let me see what else I saved here, because the Jordan Peterson one is not playing. Let's see here. Oh, everybody's talking about Diet Coke, aspartame, the artificial sweetener. Aspartame is associated with cancer risks. I think we mentioned this before, but I more mentioned it in the capacity that aspartame is a neurotoxin. Next thing is, let's see here. Puzzles and games cut dementia risk, but socializing with friends and family barely helps. What? Oh. Okay, so socializing, I guess, is not challenging enough, really. So you got to do puzzles and games. So maybe we need to introduce our those who are susceptible to dementia and our elders to something that's more stimulating than just conversation, I guess. Talking to your friends and your family sometimes is stressful, and stress isn't good for your mental health anyway. But the puzzles and games, I don't know, is that stressful, or is that just creating new synapses and new connections in your brain? I don't know. Let's read the caption. Puzzles, card games, chess, and adult education classes can reduce the risk of developing dementia over the age of 70 by as much as 11%. It's not significant, but it's something. A new study found, but participating in group activities and maintaining active social circles have little impact. I'm not going to read anymore. So, wow. I mean, we're social animals, but I guess the social part doesn't really help too much. But the puzzles and stuff. So, it makes sense why people like my boss didn't want to retire. They want to keep working. My grandmother was a stay-at-home mom, but she never stopped doing everything. She never stopped cooking. She never stopped going to the market. She's not really a big phone person. She used to talk on the phone, but she really stay on the phone too much. But she think a lot. She thought a lot. She knew a lot. She heard a lot. And she didn't really speak as much as she heard, but yeah, so here we go here. What's this one say? I can't see the caption because okay, let's see. This one is from Epoch Times, or they call it Epic Times. We used to believe that mental health disorders were rooted in moral failings. Then we discovered that even bacteria can cause mental health problems. Some argue that it's rooted in childhood trauma. Then how about genetics? Those must play a role as well. But most recently, we discovered that there is an even deeper connection between a healthy mind and your gut. So, can diet fundamentally change mental health? So what this article is saying is that, at one time we thought that people who were mentally ill were possessed by demons. And, that's not necessarily invalid. But now we realize that there's bacteria in your brain can cause that. Your diet can cause that. Childhood trauma can cause that. Even adult trauma, in my opinion, can also cause that. So that's really just recapping what we already spoke about. Let me see here. We talk about these things all the time. We're aware of that now. Okay, here's another one. Wall Street Journal. They were exposed to lead on the job. Now they are sick. So what's going on is the telecommunications companies like AT&T ran a lot of lead communication lines, it seems. And the people who worked in the manufacturing and the installation of these lines are experiencing health issues. There's also another article which I don't have here where they're talking about putting down new telecommunications lines is causing the construction companies to encounter these lead lines also. So lead conduit, lead pipe, and all this stuff is definitely still in the ground, and it's apparently not healthy. But let's see here what it says. Tracy Fachorn worked with lead solder. Her husband, Dan Fachorn, spliced lead cables. Her father, Peter Hopkins, handled lead as an installer and repairman. All worked decades for telecom companies. All are now sick. The Fitchhorns, like tens of thousands of workers at American Telephone and Telegraph, AT&T, and its successor companies, were exposed to lead on the job over many years. Current and former workers say they often felt left in the dark about their exposure and how to stay safe. So the people are saying the lead made them sick, but AT&T is saying that it's just anecdotal. It has no link. It has no association with that. It has nothing to do with it. I see the police over here. There's some migrant ladies selling water. The lady's selling water with her daughter on the corner, and Police are over there talking to them. I didn't tell you, I don't know if I told you this. They're housing migrants next to my house, and two of the guys have panhandled me already, and I don't know, people have the truckers around my area. One of the truckers yesterday said that somebody stole the diesel out of his fuel tank. That's not necessarily something that was done by the migrants. They must be waiting for a translator or something. But the lady's just selling water here on the corner. She's with her child. And I see a lot of the migrants with their children. Even before the big wave of migrants to New York, the women used to be selling mangoes and all kind of stuff. Water, juice, candy. And they would have a baby strapped to their back, but this little girl is of school age, but school is out right now, so I don't see what the big deal is. But hey, I don't know what conversation they're having. Anyhow, so there's a big lawsuit against AT&T for lead poisoning of their employees. Okay. Now, this is one close to my heart. This is from The Economist. It says, American states want to stop minors from watching adult content. So, what's going on here now is, even if back in the 90s, when you tried to go on a pornography site, it used to ask you for your age. And you had to put in an age and then you just go right in. Similar with the websites of alcohol companies. You just put in your age and they're like, okay, sure. You just put in a birthday, or you put in any birthday. I put in my birthday like in the 1970s or the 1950s, whatever. They just let you right through. Same with the alcohol websites, like I said. So whatever you put down, there's no real secure validation. So Virginia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Utah passed laws this year requiring users to prove they are an adult before accessing pornographic websites. Arkansas, Montana, and Texas have similar policies that will go into effect over the coming months. Now, we already know that pornography is not good for you. That's not something that is political, because people from the conservative side believe that it's morally dangerous. People from the liberal side know that it's misogyny and exploitation of women. They also know that it causes performance anxiety and impotence. It also messes up your relationships, and it promotes an unhealthy view of sex. So this is an area where no one should really disagree, or no one should have an issue, because people who have studied it, people who care, know that pornography is not good for anyone. It's not good for the performers, it's not good for the consumer, and it's not good for the society as a whole. And additionally, children are getting inadvertently exposed to it, and that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. Let's see what else. Now, this was an ad actually that I saved from AARP. It says, embrace the special value of intergenerational friendships. Now, I'm not always, but one thing that I believe in is multi-generational households. Multi-generational households, in my opinion, can really help us. Unfortunately, most of our elders right now are still working. It's not like they can retire or they are retired. But we have an epidemic of loneliness. We have a lack of childcare services. And I think both of those things can, if we have multi-generational households, both of those things can come together. We also have a home affordability issue and a rent affordability issue. all those things can be solved, I think, by multi-generational households. But let's read AARP's ad. It says, it started with a Nextdoor post. Nextdoor is an app. It's a community app. It started with a Nextdoor post. Maria Rosa Clausen needed help with errands, rides to medical appointments, and companionship. So her daughter posted the request. Kim Frisella responded, in the beginning, I wasn't expecting to find a friend, says Maria Rosa, 93. Friendships are often based on common interests and life experiences, which might mean that most of your friends are around the same age or at least from the same generation. But spending time with friends from different generations can have big benefits. According to a 2020 AARP study, 37% of adults have at least one intergenerational friendship with someone who is 15 years or older or younger. For more stories like this one, visit the link in our bio. So, I had a buddy named Jimmy. He was about 72 or so. So he was about 30-something years older than me. And, he was a good friend to me. I wasn't necessarily a good friend to him. But now he's dead. So what can I do? But, we had a lot of fun conversations. He helped me a lot in general. I still have some of his tools in my shed right now. Okay, this is something that I spoke about in another post, but I didn't go into depth. Neither will I go into depth now. This is New York Presbyterian Hospital. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has granted full approval to lecanemab, the first drug clinically proven to slow the rate of cognitive decline in people with early-stage Alzheimer's disease, which will result in greater access to the treatment. Dr. Lawrence S. Honig, a New York, I guess it's New York Presbyterian Columbia, neurologist specializing in memory disorders, explains how the treatment works, its risks, and the promise it holds for patients. Now, I'm not going to follow that link. So, next one, Washington Post. Alcohol consumption surged during the pandemic, and deaths followed. So this comes right back full circle to the audio that I couldn't even play. Right? And it's a map showing just about all 50 states maybe. And each one of them shows, alcohol consumption. And it also shows the change in alcohol-related deaths. Now, Mississippi had the most increase in deaths, followed, I think, by Montana, followed by Delaware. So it doesn't care if you're right-leaning or left-leaning, alcohol is killing people from all sides, followed by Connecticut. Oh my goodness. Delaware saw the highest increase in apparent consumption, 25%, and a 73% increase in alcohol-related deaths. Mississippi saw the highest increase in alcohol-related deaths, 159%, and a 10% increase in apparent consumption. So, as we can see here, alcohol is not good for you. Let's read the caption. Let's see, come on, caption. U.S. consumption of alcohol, which had already been increasing for years, accelerated during the pandemic as Americans grappled with stress and isolation, according to recently released federal data. At the same time, the number of deaths caused by alcohol skyrocketed nationwide, rising more than 45%. In 2021, alcohol was the primary cause of death for more than 54,000 Americans, causing nearly 17,000 more deaths than just a few years before in 2018, according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, we're already aware that mental illness increased during the lockdowns and isolation. But alcohol was still available to purchase, of course. Anyhow, people who are struggling, people who are under stress, self-medicate. So it was a very stressful situation for people to be isolated. We're social animals. I already told you we got a loneliness epidemic. So if we have a loneliness epidemic, and I think that was going on before the pandemic, if we got a loneliness epidemic, now we're isolated. People are dying. People are scared. People are going to use. Now, people who don't want to break the law, they're not going to use drugs. They're going to use alcohol, which is very much available. And it's very unfortunate to see this. But alcohol is not good for you. And I would say that, I don't know. My cousin the other day told me that two of his cousins, not two of his cousins. One of his cousins died from alcohol poisoning, but this was recently, like this year, 2023. So, okay, let's see here. Critics worry about the safety of the stuff that makes mineral sunscreens. For years, the main component against mineral sunscreens was their thick white formulations, left people looking like ghosts. Today's that's less of an issue. One recently popular ingredient for reducing pallor is butyl salicylate. Butyloctyl salicylate, BOS, which the industry considers a booster. Boosters walk a fine line. They supposedly improved a sunscreen's ability to block ultraviolet rays without doing the blocking themselves, and in the case of BOS, also purport to improve texture. Oh man, I'm talking and you're doing that. BOS is structurally similar to the chemical compound known as octisalate. According to 5 sources with expertise in chemistry, toxicology, and biology. Octisalate is one of the 12 ingredients that have attracted FDA scrutiny, and a big part of why critics are targeting BOS and not other boosters. Read more through the link in our bio. So that's about sunscreen. Here's another one, last one, because I gotta go to work. I'm about to be late. Washington Post: melanoma is more deadly in black men. A new study finds melanoma is far more deadly in black men who may get skin cancer in unexpected places such as fingernails and the bottoms of their feet. According to a study of more than 205,000 cases, researchers have long known that men overall have a higher risk of being diagnosed and dying of the disease than women do. But the new study is the largest evaluation to date to expose how the location, stage, and prognosis of melanoma in men varies by race. While melanoma is far more common in white men, the study shows that black men are 26% more likely to die of the disease. Now, black men are more likely to die of it because they lack the health care and probably don't get, oh man, my fault, and probably don't get early detection or treatment. Men don't like to go to the doctor in general. Something's wrong with them. They say, oh, nothing's wrong with me. It's just whatever. So I think these black men don't have the health care because, black is synonymous with poverty. They don't have any insurance. They don't go get themselves checked out at the doctor enough. And the next thing is, they say under the fingernails. Now, I work on my car a lot. After I work on my car, under my fingernails are filled with oil. And whatever other chemicals I'm working on, or whatever unknown chemicals have splashed up on the car, or whatever's going on. So all of these things are carcinogens. They're associated with cancer. So you get oil under your nails and it stays there, you're really risking your life. So recently what I've been doing is I started wearing gloves yesterday. So recently what I'm doing is I'm trying to wear gloves a lot now. I just ran out of gloves yesterday, but I try to wear my gloves so that I don't get all the oil under my fingers. But for years and years and years, I like to work without gloves. Now I feel so bad when I don't wear my gloves. And the reason why there's so many reasons why I want to wear my gloves now. So many reasons. But this should be another thing that I should take seriously. Because sometimes I'll work on my car and I'll have oil under my fingernails and my fingernails feel like they start to burn. And you can wash your hands, and the oil will still be under there. The dirty oil will still be under your fingernails, and you can't get to it. You gotta wait till it dries and then you pick it out, or it grows out. So it's not healthy to do those things. So I figured that I think really the reason why black men are dying more of it is due to our attitudes regarding healthcare and not going to the doctor, and not getting early diagnosis and ignoring our health. So that's the reason. That's one reason. And the next reason is I guess our occupations are more low skill, dirty, get your hands in the dirt type of occupations. And the bottoms of the feet, well, one thing we do, and one thing that my whole family for the most part does, is we try not to wear our shoes in the house. We don't wear our shoes in the house. When you wear your shoes in the house, you bring in dirt, you bring in unknown things like dog poop and all kind of pathogens into your house. So I think they could be helped by that also. Melanoma at the bottom of your feet. Maybe we need to go to the beach too and just get our feet, get some sun. We'll get some sun over our bodies, so our bodies can get used to the sunlight. Because, just because we're black don't mean we don't need to get a tan, and we don't need to get sunlight. We need more sunlight than other people do. Bill Nye the Science Guy explained that when he explained the difference between a ermine and a anyhow, a marmoset or a weasel or whatever you want to call it. These animals, they change their color in the wintertime. Anyhow, I don't want to elaborate on that. I'm at the job right now. It sounds offensive. Hey, that's the news. Thanks for listening.